You RSVP?
Well, the group certainly knows I'm coming. I RSVP'd with as somebody listening in the audience. I RSVP'd as a speaker, and I RSVP'd as security. So if you have any other standards of RSVP that are necessary, I'm happy to fulfill those.
Give us 1 second.
Yeah. Sure.
Please.
They'll help you out.
I'll help you out.
Okay.
Alrighty. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How you doing today?
Yeah, doing okay.
A little chilly, but it's November, right?
Seems like a lot of security for no protesters.
I'm not
Pretty
security.
for our events.
So many cameras right now.
Let him speak.
Ben, you're the
How are you,
man.
sir?
Free country.
Sure.
Over here for a minute.
Oh. How are you?
I'm the head of public safety.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. You know that you weren't registered, whatever, for the group didn't register you for the event. They have strict things, so
Welcome to Soviet
you're
Union.
not allowed, into the event.
Well, I mean, YAF did inform you that I was coming as a speaker, as a person sitting in the audience, as well as a member of Christina Hoff Summers' team. So I'm not sure what other standards are necessary. I'm also wondering exactly why it's so necessary to keep me personally out.
We're just following protocol, sir.
Well, why is there protocol to keep me specifically out?
What country protocol? Soviet Union or United States?
You want to step over here to decide?
Well, I'm happy to do it right here if you'd like. I mean, I don't think this needs to be private.
The bottom line is it's private property, okay?
I'm
It
fully
wasn't
aware.
proper procedures weren't followed, and you're not going to be allowed to.
So am I to understand that if I take 3 steps forward, you will attempt to have me arrested?
If you create a problem and you will not, leave the campus, yes.
Okay, so just to be clear, if I attempt to enter that hall right there and sit down just to listen to somebody speak, or if I attempt to ask a question or to engage in free speech, you will have me arrested.
At this point, yes, sir.
Okay, I'm glad that we've clarified that situation. I'm also glad that in a city, I mean, we clearly have great security. I'm glad in a city that has some 4,000 shootings to this date, you have 30 members of security just for a 5'9", 165 Jewish guy. I think this is maybe a mild allocation of resources. Well, okay. Well, if that's the way we're going to do this, then we'll just do the event elsewhere, folks. So follow us.
By the way, recently Jan showed you picture of this little guy that looks like you plays violin.
Folks, we're going to be heading over, so here's the deal.
Okay.
What's the address of the place we're going?
We're going to the
Theater.
Green Room Theater. Green Room
Theater, 2 blocks that way. You know where it is?
We have an address?
What's that?
Do we have an address?
It's actually 0.7 miles
guys
right
walking
down the
there?
road.
What's it called?
So we're going to be in a car.
What's
But
it called?
it's called the Green Room
Green
Theater.
Room Theater.
Green Room Theater.
We'll get there.
Green Room Theater?
And you guys are more than welcome to join us. This campus obviously doesn't give half a shit about free speech.
Listen,
So,
forget it.
Thanks for what you do, man.
hey, absolutely. Thanks for coming out, guys.
You're my hero.
It's just a pity that your administrators
you're
have
my
no
hero.
respect for you guys as students and as community members.
Jan recently showed you a picture of me playing violin that looks like you. That was me.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Ben, can I shake your hand, sir?
Absolutely, guys.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. We'll see you. We'll see you 3 blocks over.
Thanks for coming out, Ben.
Absolutely.
I guess it was good that we
Hey, thanks a lot.
Ben, in 8 years you got to run for president. You understand? You have everything for it, okay? Go on.
Well, it depends. Will they allow me to speak?
We're
I
gonna
don't know.
change Chicago. We have to change Chicago. Chicago is not lost city.
I'm glad that Rahm Emanuel can have a city where all of the illegal immigrants are allowed to stay, sanctuary style. But if I come to speak at a university in the city, we have to ensure that I can't be allowed to do that. We'll see you guys like 3 blocks over, okay? It's called the Green Room Theater. Green Room Theater, okay?
Greenhouse Theater on Lincoln?
Yeah, you got it.
Go ahead, sir.
I can do that. I can do that. Yep, yep.
We're not going to let me back.
That's no problem. That's no problem.
Thank you.
Pat, you're going to text her, and then you're going to FaceTime my number, and she's going to answer on my iPad. Okay, what? She'll, Amy knows. Amy knows.
Yeah, I got it.
Just keep going. We'll get him driving away and all that, okay? So he turns the corner and then we're done.
Okay, testing. Okay, good. All right. Shapiro, I've got 2 questions for you. One, just to get the nerves out, and second one's going to be a bit important. First, do you know a YouTuber named by the name of Secular Talk, Kyle Kalinske?
No, I don't actually.
He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I think it would be interesting if you two debated each other.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Okay, thanks. All right. And then the second one. The second one's a bit critical. Shapiro, you've shown disdain for the people who have called you and a lot of your remarks bigoted. And you make it one of your hallmarks, right? Like, if someone calls you a sexist, racist, bigot, homophobe, you can't take that. You have to, like, fight back immediately. Yet, you call these claims against you preposterous, but yet considering the fact that, A, while you were an editor-at-large at Breitbart, they called people like Bill Kristol a renegade Jew. Also, they...
That was after I left, actually, but...
What did you say?
That was after I left.
Okay. And also, touting...
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
Also counting Jewish leaders as neocons, something that you yourself have said is an anti-Semitic slur. Also, when you resigned, you just saw the infamous poster that they put on you. They put, like, your face into the David Star. Also, you initially defended a video of your own creation. Well, not of your own creation.
It was not of my creation, yeah.
The
Columbus Day video, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Daily Wire's, you defended that initially, that video where you defended that as satire. Of course, the infamous video of Native American people, their genocide.
Yeah, the video's garbage.
Justified.
Right.
And then finally, and most infamously, you said that Arabs, not Islam, were, quote, your words, were the darkness in the Middle East, were rotten to the core. And most infamously and horribly, you said Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage.
Okay, so can I address those one at a time? Okay, so let's go through them one by one. So, so let's start with the last one, the bomb crap and live in open sewage. Go back and look at the entire Twitter thread. I was specifically talking about the leadership of Hamas. I actually say that in the thread, like in the next tweet. So I don't believe that all Arabs like to live in open sewage and bomb crap, obviously. I think there are millions of Arabs, I actually say in that thread, in that exact same thread, that there are millions of Arabs across the Middle East who are wonderful people, and there are many millions of Muslims who are wonderful people. So, again, that one's out of context. As far as the Columbus Day video, what happened is that I was on vacation, and I got news that this thing had broken. And I looked at it, and it looked to me like a bad video, but a satire video. And I'm always hesitant to pull down satire, just as a general rule, because I think that once you start pulling down satire, then you are opening yourself up to the charge that anything that is intended to be humorous is supposed to be taken at face value. So my initial response was very torn. And over the course of the next 24 hours, the more I looked at it, the more I thought it was garbage, and the more I thought that the comedic value of it was dramatically outweighed by the nastiness of it. And I took the hit myself, and I took it down. Right, so there's that. As far as the column where I talked about darkness in the Middle East, what I specifically was talking about, again, that's taken out of context, is about a column. It was a column with regard to the Palestinian Authority and the fact that if you were to juxtapose Israeli settlements to the Palestinian Authority, then what you would be looking at is a regime that is terroristic and supports terror attacks and supports tyranny and supports the imprisonment of gay people and does not support women's rights. And you're looking on the other side at a regime, at a state that supports all of the same values that we in the West value. So, so I think it's important that we actually give full context to each of those remarks. Again, the reason that I fight back on the racist, homophobe, bigot charge is because if you're going to call me that without evidence, then you're a jackass. And if you're going to take my stuff out... And taking context and I'm not suggesting this is what you're doing. My guess is that you're probably getting this off a list that was provided by some group or another. But if that's the case, then pulling quotes out of context and then using these as bludgeons without actually looking at what I was saying is a cheap trick.
Okay.
So what is your formal education background? So I guess a lot of people don't know what your undergraduate degree was in.
So I was at UCLA in political science and then Harvard Law School.
Okay. So you don't have, you wouldn't consider yourself an expert in sociology?
I don't consider sociology a particularly expert field, but go ahead. I think I'm able to read a sociological study.
Study, but so you're not necessarily an expert.
Yes, there are lots of fields of study.
Right. Well, what I'm getting at is there's a lot of topics.
Let's put it this way, I know a lot less about welding than I do about sociology.
What I'm getting at is that you're not considered an expert in sociology, psychology, gender studies, lesbian dance theory, many of these things that you've brought up tonight.
I know a lot more about all those others than lesbian dance theory. As far as if you want to take issue with the argument, I would urge you not to use the argument from authority, which is somebody has a PhD by their name, they know what they're talking about. That's a dumb argument.
What I'm trying to get at is that fact that do you have any other further education in any of these topics or any of these fields of study?
I don't need a 7-year degree in sociology to know bullshit when I hear it.
And granted, that's your opinion.
Right, because I'm here, yeah, giving it.
That would mean that you're also offering kind of an unqualified opinion on a lot of these topics.
See, again, you're just making the argument from authority. I don't think slapping a PhD from Ferris State next to your name makes you an expert in all things in the field in which you propose to speak. Okay, the fact is that either my argument's good or my argument's bad. Citing to my credentials is a really bad way of making an argument.